Hello to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing this space. Thanks for gathering together. And as corny as it sounds, in the name of love, thanks for being a light in this world, gathering to have a conversation on being present. We're here in this community every single day. Zenful conversations we've been having for 6 years. Thank you for contributing your beautiful energy to this safe, sacred space that I have grown to love. This year, we're having a conversation based on the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. This New York Times bestselling book was described as having the life you want by being present to the life you have. And that's what we're talking about, being present for our own lives. Being present. The message we're offered today, this day number 1958, is titled, "We All Spill Soup." We all spill soup. There's a quote here at the beginning offered to us by the Hindu sage Ramana Maharshi. Wanting to reform the world without discovering one's true self is like trying to cover the world with leather to avoid the pain of walking on stones and thorns. It's much simpler to wear shoes. What is that? It's far greater to light one candle than to curse the darkness. Oh, what a nice message to start the day off with. Everyone personalizes and projects. Personalizing is mistaking what happens in the world as always having to do with you. An extreme example would be when a child doesn't do her homework and learns the next day that a plane went down in Dallas. She somehow believes that she was responsible. A more common adult version of this, and less extreme, is when your partner comes home sullen and moody, and you immediately believe it's your fault. Projecting is the reverse. It occurs when we place the things that happen in us onto the world around us, often unknowingly. We attribute our fears and frustrations to others. Rather than accept my own anger, I see you as angry. A generational example would be that if I'm afraid of dogs, I protect my children from dogs. And without asking how they feel, keep them away from dogs too. Hmm. A subtler example of this is when someone is crying and we say there's no need to be upset because we are uncomfortable with the emotion. Or when we keep asking the other person if they are okay, when it is we who is not. The truth is that no one can avoid personalizing or projecting. There are only those of us who are aware of it, and those of us who are not. Only those of us who own it when it happens, and those of us who don't. But this difference is crucial. Not owning these things can end relationships. Owning them can deepen relationships. Humans have spilled soup for eternity. And generations have made excuses, saying it was the earth shifted. And generations have secretly thought he meant to do it. If you want to save the world, then when you spill the soup, simply say, I'm sorry I spilled the soup. So much wisdom is in these little messages, these few paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. This being uncomfortable with somebody else's situation is pretty powerful. I'm fortunate enough to be involved in a circle of mostly people that are bound to the wheelchair for life. And a lot of times people are uncomfortable, able-bodied people are uncomfortable being around people that are bound to the wheelchair because it makes them uncomfortable. And so I hear in these circles conversations of, now this person that is in the wheelchair has to make this able-bodied person feel comfortable because they're uncomfortable, and it's a whole thing. And there's a lot there that is far beyond my knowledge for sure, but I recognize the space. Somebody's crying, it makes us feel bad. And that's something I learned in the therapy training. You know, somebody's crying there, something devastating happened, and they're crying, and you're like, oh, come here, honey, and you tap them, it's okay. And we're trying to put that out. We're trying to get them to stop crying because it makes us feel uncomfortable. So they stopped crying to comfort us. They did not resolve anything. Holding space is not trying to get somebody to stop crying. It's interesting, the whole space. The meditation, the meditative exercise that were offered today asks us to center ourselves. So let's take a couple breaths and center ourselves and bring to mind a recent incident in which you have been the spiller of the soup. Breathe clearly and see with accuracy what you did and how it affected others. Breathe gently and own with kindness your humanness. If need be, make amends. Wanting to reform the world without discovering one's true self is like trying to cover the world with leather to avoid the pain of walking on stones and thorns. It is much simpler to wear shoes. Thank you, Mark Nepo, for putting these messages in a book and sharing them with us. Thank you so much for coming by. Please visit zenfulconversations.com. Take a look around and sign up. We have a great guest speaker coming on Thursday, June 20th at 4 p.m. Eastern, Roseberry, Watola Trauma. Free conversation. Sign up at zenfulconversations.com. Namaste. See you tomorrow.